Hello everyone, you're on the Madcap channel. This video is a new selection of the top 20 tips for Blender users that will be interesting both for beginners and experienced 3D artists. To draw with curves, delete all points in the object, select the Draw tool, and now you can simply draw curves in space. This can be useful for creating neon signs, cables, or pipes. To add thickness, go to this panel and in the level section, increase the depth value. This is how I created this neon sign. This can also be another way to use the previous tip. For example, in motion graphics, add any text, choose the desired font in the font section. Add a curve. And now, with the selected text in the transform section, choose the curve object as the text on curve. Now the text follows the curve, and you can change its settings, material, etc. For this to work and for some tips in this video, make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled. To quickly replace a node, select it and press Shift-S and choose the one you need. To quickly switch between windows, press Ctrl and page up or page down at the same time. To quickly connect nodes, hold Ctrl and right-click and drag along the connection. To merge, hold Alt and right-click from one node to another. To create random colors for your objects, just add color ramp and object info nodes. Connect the color ramp to the shader color and object info random to the factor of the color ramp. Now you can adjust the colors using the color ramp. Change the interpolation mode, for example, to constant for solid colors without transitions, or switch the color mode from RGB to any other. Don't be afraid to experiment. This works great for natural objects like grass, stones, or leaves. You can mix it with other nodes. In solid mode, which is the geometry view, press Alt-B and use the mouse to select the area you want to view. To exit this view, press Alt-B again. Here I have two Susannas, one with a modifier, material and shade smooth, and the other is default. To quickly copy all this data without doing it manually, select both objects, select the one you want to copy from seconded, will be highlighted in yellow and press Ctrl L. Let's first copy the material, i.e. link material, then the modifier, and finally object data. There are also other useful data types that can be copied. If you're creating an animation with two cameras, set them up first. To view from the second camera, right-click and choose Set Active Camera. When you've set everything up, in the Open Time Frame window, choose the required camera and the frame where the switch should start and press Ctrl B on the timeline. Now when playing the animation, you will get this result. Speaking of animation, I recommend WingFox School and their course on creating stylized backgrounds for animation and 3D projection. The course covers steps in development, conceptualization, illustration, and animation of drawn backgrounds for animation. So if you want to learn how to create such stylized environments, follow the link below the video where you can learn more about this and other interesting WingFox courses. Sometimes you need to know the exact data about edge lengths or polygon areas. To view this, go to the add-ons and activate Measure It. Now, in Edit mode, open the Viewport overlay and in the Measure It section choose what you want to display. Now, by selecting the desired edge, you can see its length and the angle between two polygons and other data. To quickly add a texture, select the Principled Beast and press Ctrl-Shift-T. Select the desired textures, you can remove the displacement. Sometimes it's inconvenient to direct light manually, especially in animation, so you can select the light source and in Constraint Properties, choose Add and Track to, and set the object your lamp should point to. Now, wherever I move the light or the object, the light will always shine exactly at the object's origin. This can also be useful for the camera, for example when animating a car driving. You can duplicate objects with Shift-D, but you can also create scenes that use less memory if you use Alt-D instead of Shift-D. The new object will use the same data as the first one, and any changes made to one will affect the others, which can be very useful in complex scenes. In render or material preview mode, by default we see a combined view of the color map, normals, light, shadows, and others. But sometimes it's useful to view only one map. To do this, in this menu choose something other than combined, for example emission to view glow, normal to view normals, diffuse to view only the color map. You can do this in both Eevee and cycles. When adding textures, sometimes we see seams that don't look good. To quickly get rid of them, just add mapping and texture coordinate nodes, choose object as the vector. But we still see seams, so instead of flat choose box texture projection. And now we can fix the texture's flaws with the blend slider. This works only with relatively uniform textures. After adjusting the scale a bit, I got this wooden monkey. Sometimes you need to detach a face or vertex from the mesh. To do this quickly, select the rip tool and then just pull the selected face or vertex with the mouse. Sometimes using nodes for lighting is essential. This works in cycles. Select the light source and in the nodes section select use nodes. Open the shader editor and you'll see the same nodes as in materials. To create a certain light pattern, add a texture coordinate node and connect to the normal color. Also, for example, mask grave texture and color ramp for adjusting contrast or colors. You can achieve an interesting sea-bottom effect by using wave texture. To view only lighting, you can use one of the previous tips. These were my top 20 Blender tips. If you haven't seen the previous parts, be sure to watch them. They also have a lot of useful stuff. If you enjoy this series, you can support my effort with a like. If you have your own tips and tricks, I'd love to read them in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope you found lots of interesting and useful stuff. See you on the Madcap channel.